Okay, all right, let's talk about exchange rates, guys. All right, so who can tell us what is an exchange rate exactly? How many of you guys know what an exchange rate is? Good, it's currency, you're correct, Amber, but what do we do with this currency? Correct. Oh, well, okay. So Denver says an exchange rate is, I guess, the value of the currency for certain things. Yes, correct. Nyasha says we converted from one to the other. Yes, it's currency. Aha, that's Moeketsi. That's exactly the thing that I was looking to hear. It's a comparison of one country's currency to another country's currency, right? So like in this case, these currency or these exchange rates that we're looking at, I got them today. So this is how much each of the currencies compare to each other today, right? So what this tells us is if I spend 1 South African rand, I'm only going to get 0.05 of a US dollar, right? But if I want to buy 1 US dollar, I'm going to have to pay 18 rand and 70 cents, all right, for 1 US dollar. Now, I'm going to ask you guys now, if I have 1 rand, I can only buy 0.05 of a euro. If I have 1 euro, how much did I spend in rands? Okay. Good, that's it, Tanvir. 19 rand and 92 cents. Good, we can see it over here. Here it is, right? That's how much 1 euro is going to cost us in rand. We're going to pay 19 rand and 92 cents. All right, if we look at the British pound, if I spend 1 rand, I'm only going to get 0.04 of a British pound. But if I want to buy 1 full British pound, how many rands do I have to spend? Have a look on the screen, guys. That's it, Tabo, correct. Okay, be very careful. That comma 3 is very important. So it should be 9.3. All right, that's it, correct. So for 1 pound, I'm going to have to spend 22 rand and 93 cents. Okay, so we need to round up. All right, so that's just the idea behind exchange rates, right? But remember, in every country, the cost of living is going to be different. Like if we think about how much a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk costs in America, it costs like $3, which to us is like 60 rand, right? But a gallon of milk wouldn't cost that much for us. It costs a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay, let's look at this next exercise over here. I want you guys to answer questions 1, 2, and 3. Pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're ready. If you haven't done exchange rates yet, I'm going to quickly go through the first one. But for those of you who have done exchange rates, go ahead and answer the questions. All right. So question 1 says, Nicola went to Italy. She changed 800 pounds into euros. The exchange rate was 1 euro, 1 pound is to 1.40 euro. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite these currencies as a ratio. So I'm going to go pound and a ratio and go dot euro. And I know that I've got 1 pound is to 1.40 euro. But now they tell me in the question that I've got 800. We've got 800. So this 800 pounds needs to go in the pounds column. So I'm going to write it over here. 800. Well done, Yusuf. That's the correct answer. So the next thing we're going to have to ask ourselves is, how did we get from 1 pound to 800? What did we have to do, guys? What did we do here? Correct, Nyasha, that's it. Yes, Danvir, beautiful, that's it. We need to multiply. We're going to multiply by 800 on this side. That's it. But if we do it on that side, we're also going to have to do it on this side. We're also going to have to multiply. Right. So 1,40 times 800 gives us how much? Third, 1,120. But now we have to make sure that we're writing it correctly because the question asked us for the answer in euros. So we still have to write 1,120 euros. Okay. You guys can give me a thumbs up if this makes sense to you. It's quite nice and chill, very nice, easy exercise. After today, we're going to step it up a lot. So I'm happy for you guys to do these as quickly as you can so that we can move on to more interesting. We're done with question 2 and 3. And when you're done, pop your favorite emoji in the chat. I'm going to pop Punzo's favorite emoji in the chat. I hope we're still all doing okay. Excellent. Okay, that last one, that question 3 is a bit tricky, but we'll get around to how it needs to look. Right, one more minute, guys, and then I'm going to get to the answers. Oh, I love that emoji. It's a very nice one. Okay, peeps. All right, let's get into the next couple of questions we've got here. All right, so remember, we're going to take everything and we're going to turn it into a ratio. Okay, so it says here, a new TV in Tokyo costs 53,380 yen, right? Exchange rate is £1 is to 157 yen. How much is the TV in pounds? So we know that we're going to set up a ratio where we're comparing pounds to yen. So pounds of dot. Correct, that's it. Yes, Danvir. Yusuf, on point. Okay, so we know that this is going to be 1 is to 157. For every £1, we get 157 yen. Correct. Okay, Now over here, I know that I've got 53,380 yen. Right. So I need to then figure out, how did I get from 157 to 53,380? Now I know it's not going to be an easy number for me to find. So instead of actually multiplying to figure that answer out, what we're going to do is we're going to divide up. We're going to go 53,380 divided by 157, correct, is 340. Divided by 340, correct. And now I know that on this side, because I'm going down, I can just multiply by 340. 1 times 340 is going to give me 340. So the question says, how much does the TV cost in pounds? I'm going to put the pound sign, and I'm going to, which is pretty simple. And I'm guessing you guys are just getting it. All right, let's have a look at question 3. Question 3 says, in Lisbon, a watch costs 80 euro. In Liverpool, the same watch costs 65 pounds. The exchange rate is £1 is to 1.25 euro. Work out the difference in cost. Now, I want you guys to note here, they don't actually tell you in what currency to do this. So you can actually work out the difference in cost either using pounds or using euro. It won't really make a difference. Either of them is viable here as an answer. So what we can do is, let's maybe compare pounds to pounds and then euro. So I'm going to use euro and pounds, and then I'm going to use the euro number to figure out how much the pounds is. Right, so I'm going to go 1 pound, or pound is to euro. I'm going to go 1 pound is to 1. Right, now I know I've got 65, oh, sorry, line. This is X. I don't know how many pounds I have for every 80 euro. So I need you guys to find out for me, what did I have to multiply by, or what do I divide by over here? What do I need to do to get from 80 to 1.2? What did I need to do? Divide by how much? It's not 65 to 80. It's not Denver. What's going to happen in a second? Right. So what I need you guys to do for me is take 80 and divide it by 1.25. And what is that going to give us? Correct, Nyasha. It gives us 64. So we're going to divide by 64 on this side. Right. But once we get on this side, we're going this way. We're going to multiply 64. Right. So I know that for every 80 euro, sorry, or for every 64 pounds, I will get 80 euro. But we don't want 64. We want to compare 65 pounds. So now you can do the calculation in the other direction, right? Now that I've got pounds and pounds, I can actually say the difference. What do I need to do to work out the difference, guys? What I need to do to work out the difference. Correct. Highest minus lowest. We're going to subtract, right? So we can go 65 pounds minus 64 pounds is equal to 1 pound. So there's a 1 pound difference in the watch that you would buy in Lisbon rather than in Liverpool. Okay. Now, if we did it the other way around, if let's say, for instance, we said, we know what the pound number is. We know that the pounds are 65, and what we want to work out is the euros. We can also do it that way. Now, in this case, we're going to go, what did we do to multiply to get, what did we multiply by to get from 1 to 65? It should give you times 65. So now if we go this way, 1.25 times 65, how much do we get? What is 1.25 times 65? Yes, he's correct. He's correct, teacher Nelson. I'll show you why in just a second. He's 100% confident. 1.25 times 65, guys. Beautiful, Luto. That's it. 81.25 euro. Good. Right. So what that tells us is for every 65 pounds, I get 81.25 euro. Now, if I had to compare euro and euro, again, I need to find the difference. So I'm going to take the highest euro amount minus the lower euro amount. So you'd have to go 81.25 euro minus 80 euro is equal to 1.25 euro. So Samuel, when you said that you got 1.25 as an answer, you're correct. But you must tell us in what currency it's in. Otherwise, the answer doesn't come. Okay. Then we don't know if it's in pounds or if it's in euro. You need to be very specific. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you guys one last exercise to do on exchange rates, and then we're going to get to the big boy stuff. Okay. Right, there is your last question. It says here, below are the prices of the same car in different countries. Now, I want you guys to look at this question and tell me, what are we going to convert all the other countries' currencies to? Just by looking at the question, which currency do we want all of them to be in? Correct, Danvir, that's it. Beautiful, good. Because they tell us over and over, 1 pound is to something. 1 pound is to something. 1 pound is to something. So what they want us to do is take all the other currencies and convert them to pounds. All right. Now the question says here, in which country is the car the best value? So we're looking for the car or the country that sells the car the cheapest. All right. Okay, I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes and then pop your favorite emoji in the chat when you're ready. One more minute, guys. Oh, there's a real big storm brewing outside my window. You can hear it. Oh, lovely, Nyasha. By the way, cute emoji. Never seen anybody using the robot head. Yeah. All right, peeps. Okay, let's get into some of these answers. All right, so I'm going to start my ratio up again, right? But I know that this English one is the only one that I'm not changing. I can't change the one in England because it's already in pounds. So I need to change all the others, right? I'm going to start with dollars. So I know that for every £1, I get $1.25, right? Now I have $20,000. So I need to figure out, how did I get from 20,000 to 1,25? What did I do, guys? Divide by how much? Correct. And what answer did it give you, Imelda? Correct. It gives us 16,000. Beautiful. All right. So we're also going to get 16,000 on this side, right? So 16,000 pounds, right? So now we know that if I have 20,000 US dollars, I actually have 16,000 British pounds. That's the first calculation. Now let's look at the calculation for Ireland. So I'm going to use the euro calculation. So I'm going to get, for every £1, there is 1,18 euro. And now I have 17,500 euro. And in order to figure out how much pounds that is, I'm going to move up. Therefore, I must divide. So what answer do we get, guys? Correct. Okay, 0.51 done there. Be very careful of your rounding off. Right. So 14,830,51. And that means we'll multiply it by it on this side. So that means that if I use Irish euro or euro, then in pounds, if I have 17,500 euro, in pounds, that's the same as 14,830. And the last one we can do is the Japanese yen. So again, for every £1, I get 140 yen. So now I know I have 3 million yen. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. And in order to get from here that way, I'm going to need to divide. So what answer do I get when I divide, guys? Correct. That's it, Nyasha. That's it. And very good. We're going to get 21,428,57. Good. So we know that if I have 3 million Japanese yen, then I actually have 21,428,57 pounds. So the question still stands, guys. We're not done. The question reads, in which country is the car the best value? In which country would you buy it and get the best value for your money? Correct. Correct. In Ireland. Beautiful. That's it. Ireland. Ireland is the correct answer. Beautifully done. All right. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're okay with how to do exchange rates. I don't particularly think they're difficult, especially for you guys, because you guys are just geniuses. You know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's dive into some tough stuff. Okay. Let's challenge you guys a little bit, because you guys seem very comfortable here and you guys are doing a really good job. So I'm gonna up the stakes a little bit, and we're going to look at the last thing we looked at in our lesson on Wednesday, right? So we said that if, let's say, for instance, the bank offers you an annual interest rate of 14%, right? They offer you an annual interest rate of 14%, but you only want to open a savings account for a holiday that's coming up in 6 months. So how do we take this yearly interest rate at 6 months and turn it into something that we can compare over 6 months? Okay, over 6 months. Excuse me. All right, so what we then need to do is we need to look at something called compounding periods. And that's what we're going to be looking at here. Now, this formula that I've got here looks very familiar. It actually looks exactly like the compound interest formula. The only difference is I've added an M in here and I've added an M in there, right? And all that this M does is it tells us what the compounding period is going to be, right? Now, remember we've spoken about, if they say it's compounded annually, then our M is just going to be equal to. Biannually would mean that our M value in the formula is 2. What would quarterly mean? What would M be equal to if we had to compound our interest rate quarterly? M would equal how much? Think of a quarter. Correct, that's it. Correct, 4, 100%. Okay, what about monthly? What would my M be if I had to compound something monthly? Correct, I see, that's it, Luto. Beautiful. Okay. 12. Okay, Denvir says quarterly, isn't it 3? It's 4 times in a year. Okay, it's 4 times in a year, but it's every 3 months. That's completely different. Just like biannually would be 2 times in a year, but it's every 6 months. So we can't make biannually 6. Okay, doesn't work that way. All right. Okay. Correct, Asti, but we've got new people, so I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. All right. So for weekly, what would M be equal to for weekly? Correct, 52. Correct. Weekly would mean 52. Remember, Imelda, remember, I can understand why you would say 7, but we're not looking at it daily. If it was daily, if we're comparing the daily rate and it was weekly, yes, it would be times 7. But we're looking at the yearly rate, taking it down to a week. So we must compare a year to a week. All right. Okay. And daily, how much would that be? Correct. Okay. 365. All right. For the purposes of this, we're just going to use 365. Okay. That leap year, we'll just call that extra day an intermission. It doesn't. Okay. Yes, correct, Samuel. So that 52 is the number of weeks in a year. There are 52 weeks in a year. All right. Okay, let's put some of this to practice. Okay, this also takes a lot of calculator skill, guys. So we're going to have to get very familiar with how to maneuver our way around our calculator. All right, let's start with this question over here. It says, Tepco invests 40,000 Rand for 5 years at 16% per annum, compounded monthly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do our A, P, I, N, and M. Now we're going to add M as well because we're going to need M, right? So we know that our A, our accumulated amount, is what we're looking for. We're looking for the accumulated amount. Our P value is going to be 40,000. 3. Our interest rate would be 16% or 0.16, or you can write it as 16 over 100. Our N, our number of years, N is number of years, that's going to be 5 years. And what is our M going to be? What is the M in this particular question going to be, guys? What is M equal to? Correct. Nyasha, you are on fire today. I mean, just, yes, 100%. Because it's compounded monthly, It's compounded monthly. So we need to find the monthly interest rate. So our M is equal to 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to punch this into our calculator. We're going to go A is equal to 40,000, open brackets, 1 plus. Now I recommend in this particular one using the 0.16, okay, as your interest rate. So you can go 0.16 divided by my M value, which is 12, close brackets, to the power of N is my number of years. My number of years is 5 times 12. All right. Before we even get to the actual answer, I want you guys to give me a thumbs up if you're comfortable with how to put this into your calculator. Okay. Give me a thumbs down if you're not, so I can show you guys how to do it. I don't want to leave you guys behind. Okay, excellent. All right, I'm going to let you guys do exactly that. Okay, and then once you're done, I'm not going to ask for your favorite emoji. I want you to pop your answer in the chat. Okay. Sure. Luto, that was like 3 seconds, guy. Please. Give other children a chance. Okay, never mind. Everybody's got it. Okay. Okay. We're 100% correct. I know Mweketi is like, we just like turned around. Jiggy people have answers. How? How? I know. All right. But for those of you who have popped answers in the chat, you guys are 100% correct. The answer over here is 88,552 Rand and 28 cents. Well done, guys. All right. I'm going to ask you guys again. Give me a thumbs up if this stuff is like, yeah, ma'am, I got you. Easy. Thumbs down. And you're like, hey, ma'am, no, not for me. Hey, beautiful, beautiful, guys. I'm going to remind you again that you guys are like top tier because many schools only teach this at the beginning of grade 11 when they do finance in grade 11. So you guys are like, here, levels. There's levels to those things, you know? Okay, Mweketi, you've got 30 seconds. Nyasha, that's why. It's because it's actually a grade 11 concept. Okay. And they don't actually do this formula in grade 11. This is a formula that I made up because it's a lot easier to use when we get questions like these. So it's unlikely that you're going to see it in a textbook, but I've modified it so that it's easier for us to use. Okay. Hope is like, no wonder it looks bombastic. All right, let's get into an example of your own, guys. I want you guys to try this. Okay, we're going to be using the same values over and over and over. Right. So we know that we're calculating for A in all of these. Our P is going to be the same. Our I is going to be the same. Our N is going to be the same. The only thing that's going to change is our M, because from A to B to C to D, our M is going to change. So let's fill in the obvious. A is what we don't know. Our P is going to be 24,000, right? Our I is going to be 11.5%, or you can use 0.115, and then our N is going to be 10 years. Now your M is going to be dependent on how each of these periods are compounded. Now the first one says, if the interest is compounded annually. If it's compounded annually, what is M going to be equal to, peeps? What is M equal to? Correct. Oh, Nyasha, you're just killing it. Yeah. Yes, correct. M is equal to 1. Annually means 1. What if the interest is compounded quarterly? Our M is going to equal to, beautiful, I see, that's it. M is going to equal 4. The interest rate is compounded monthly. M is equal to 12. And if it's compounded daily, our M is equal to 365. I feel like you gave away everybody's secrets and now, you know, they must pay you. You can't just give away such precious information for free. Okay, I'm going to write down that formula one more time for you guys. A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus I over M, close brackets, to the power of N times M. And when you're done, pop your favorite emoji in the chat. Samuel, how? Just how, my guy, how? Only when you're done with all 4 questions, Samuel, not just number 1. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so far done 2. I'm waiting, Hope. I won't run away. I won't run. We're right here. We're going to wait for you guys. Tabo's done. All right, guys. We need to start wrapping up. Thanks, Amelda. Thanks, Hope. All right, peeps. Okay, let's look at some of these answers. All right, so for the first one, because everything is compounded annually, we're just going to take it as we see it. 24,000. 1 plus 11.5% over 1 to the power of 10 times 1. Which won't really make a difference. I could have just used it. Normally, I should get 71,278.72. Right. That's my first one. All right, in my second one, quarterly, compounded quarterly, I'm going to have 24,000, open brackets, 1 plus 11.5% divided by 4, close brackets, to the power of 10 times 4. And the answer we should get there is equal to 74,577, 0.05. 0.5. All right, let's go to compounded monthly. Right, I'm going to get A is equal to 24,000, open brackets, 1 plus 11.5% over 12 to the power of 10 times 12. Right. The answer I get there is 75,382.74. Right. And then we do the very last one. A is equal to 24,000, open brackets, 1 plus 11.5% over 365 times, or to the power of 10 times 365. Right. So we should then get 5. We should get 75,782.90. I hope you guys are noticing that dependent on how long you keep the money in and how your compounding periods are, the more interest you actually earn, right? So give yourself a mark out of 4. Tell me in the chat how much you got out of 4. Beautiful, Luto. I could tell this was so easy for you guys. Like, not even a challenge, nothing. Nothing. Beautifully done. For those who got 3, I hope we know where we may have messed up a little bit. Maybe it was just a tiny calculation error here or there. All right, excellent. All right. So let's talk about timelines today, because timelines are also very important. This is the last question we're going to do for the evening. And then we're going to put everything together in Wednesday's lesson. We're just going to do everything, a little bit of everything that we've done. All right, it says here, 3,000 is deposited in a savings account for 5 years, right? The interest for the first 2 years is 9.5% per annum compounded quarterly. It is then increased to 10.2% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the amount of money accumulated at the end of 5 years. Now, that is a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. Okay, yes, correct. Oh, Denver, just when I think I can trick you, Denver is just like, yes, 2 equations. Man, okay. All right, let's think about this. How long is the full investment going to be? How long is it going to be? When are we going to cash out all our money? After how many years? Correct. Yes, that's it. That's it, Danvir. That's it, Nyasha. Good, Tabo. That's it. Our full timeline is going to be for 5 years. Good. But at a particular year, something changes. What happens in which year? After how many years, something changes? Correct. At year 2, something happens. Right. At year 2, something changes up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to represent what's just happened on a. So we're going to go T0. And T0 is always going to stand for today. T0 is today. Right. Today, we deposit 3,000 Rand into this account. That's today. That's what we're doing. Right. We know that this investment is going all the way up to T5, which is year 5. That's how long it is. But we know in between T0, in between today and T5, we get something happens differently at T. Something happens at T2. So this is our timeline that we've just so beautifully drawn. Right. We know that for the first 2 years, what is my interest rate, guys? What is my interest rate for the first 2 years? Correct. 9.5% per annum. But there's a catch, because my M, what do I know about my M value for my calculation? What is my M value? This is 9%, 9.5% per annum compounded what? Correct, Danvir. That's it. Yes, Tabo. Beautiful, Luto. Yes, Ho. Good. Because we know that this is compounded quarterly, so we know that our M is going to be 4. So we're now back at this formula. A is equal to P, open brackets, 1 plus I over M, the power of M. Then what happens after year 2? What is our interest rate after year 2? What do we know about our interest rate after year 2? Read through the scenario, guys. Let me know. Correct. That's it, Amber. It goes up to 10.2% per annum. However, our M is equal to, how much is our M equal to? Yes, that's it. Oh, Amber, love it. Yes, M is equal to 12. Now, remember, this isn't only going to affect the M values and the I values, it's also going to affect our N value. So we know that from here to there, the number of years is going to equal to, how many years do we have? N is equal to what in this calculation, this first one? N is equal to 2, correct, Nyasha? N is equal to 2, right? But from T2 up until T5, what is our N then going to be? Between T2 and T5, how many years is that in between? Correct, Luther and Nyasha, that's it. Our N is going to be 3. Thank you, Amelda. Good. So if we think about this, how many calculations are we actually going to do? Are we going to do just one calculation? How many calculations are we going to do here? Good. We're going to do 2 calculations, Amelda, 100%. We're going to first look at how much money this is going to give us. And then once we get that amount, we're going to use that amount to calculate for this part of it. All right, so let's start with this first part over here. We know we are looking for A. We know that our P is going to be the amount that we put. It's going to be 3,000. Our I is going to equal to 9.5%. Our N is going to be 2, and our M is going to equal to 4. I want you guys to please give me an answer for the first 2 years. How much do we accumulate in the first 2 years? Punch it into a calculator, guys, and give me an answer. $3,000, open brackets, 1 plus 9.5% over 4, all to the power of 2 times 4. Ah, Nyasha, you absolute God. Yes, Tabo, that's it. Correct. The answer we get is 3,619 Rand and 70 cents. Now, this is here. This amount is over here. It is over here at year 2. It's an A amount. It's an accumulated amount. But what do we know about this amount at year 2? What happens to this amount at year 2? What are we going to do? I know it's an A amount, but once it gets over here, we can't use it as an A amount anymore. What are we going to use it? It's not an accumulated amount. It needs to be correct, Amelda. It needs to become our P value for the next calculation. That's it. It becomes P. So that means that when we do the next calculation, we're going to go A is what we're looking for. Our P is this value that we just got, 3,619.70. Our interest rate has also changed. Our interest rate is now 10.2%. Our N is 3 years because we're going from T2 to T5. Our N is 3 years, and our M is equal to 12. So we punch that into our calculator, all of that together. A is equal to 619.70, open brackets, 1 plus 10.2% over 12, close brackets to the power of 3. Pop your answers in the chat, peeps. Sure. Asi, Prabhu, Nyasha, Denver, you guys are just like, you're killing it today. Sure. Let's give everybody else a chance to catch up. That's it. Beautifully done, guys. Good. So the answer we're looking for at the end is 4,909,14.